Hi everyone, Steve Harbaugh with Creative Ventures, and welcome to our latest edition in the Over Coffee video series. You know, the brain is such an interesting organ. It's made up of about 3 pounds of fatty tissue with billions of neurons and dendrites sending information both chemically and electrically out at about 350 miles an hour. It uses about 20% of all of our energy, and it can store an astounding 2.5 petabytes of information. I'm told that's a lot. And it's where we do our thinking. Now, there's all kinds of thinking that we do in the brain. We've got critical thinking and creative thinking, innovative thinking, intuitive thinking. But because of the way the world bombards us with information and how we're constantly in a stream of things that we're supposed to remember in our brain, we've created shortcuts. Now, thinking shortcuts. People love shortcuts. These kind of shortcuts are called heuristics. They're mental little pathways that are based on our experience and give us what we would call best guesses. You probably know heuristic rules more commonly as a rule of thumb. We use these as little helpers as we move through the world processing huge amounts of information all the time. These rules of thumbs are decisions based on how easy it is to bring something from our memory forward again so that we have experienced it. Now, I'll give you a couple quick examples. If you go to a grocery store and the lines are long, or anywhere where people are queued up, always go left. The reason being is the vast majority of the world is right-handed, and they will tend to go towards their dominant direction, meaning the left-hand side lines are normally shorter. An interview of burglars done by Psychology Today asked them a bunch of questions. One of the questions became a heuristic or a rule of thumb for burglars that if there's a car in the driveway, skip the house. Roger Federer, arguably one of the greatest tennis players who ever lived, maybe the greatest, would often serve wide into the deuce court. It usually gave him a forehand, and the point was over after the serve, basically, for Federer. This was a pattern people recognized, and they knew to step over. Golf courses are crowded. A rule of thumb is play later in the afternoon when it's hot and most people don't want to be out there. Rules of thumb are based on history, and they streamline decision-making processes. In business, you'll recognize a couple of them. One is called Pareto's Law, or basically the 80-20 rule, that 80% of your business will come from 20% of your clients. So this rule of thumb helps you identify your most important clients. Another one is Occam's razor. It's about simplicity, saying that the simplest answer is usually the most true. But the problem with heuristics and rules of thumb is they're prone to bias. Let me give you an example. Scarcity is a bias in heuristic rules. Things are more valuable when access is limited, which is why when people put on sales in stores, they'll have things that say limited time only or while supplies last. Those kinds of things are important, remind you to buy lots and lots of toilet paper at certain times during the year. The bottom line is heuristic rules are generalizations. They can be prone to error, but when you need a quick decision, you'll find yourself defaulting to a good old rule of thumb. You see, there's nothing wrong with a good shortcut. So thanks for listening. I hope to see you next time when we talk about something different on Over Coffee.